Welcome to Graffiti City, your one stop shop for graffiti supplies. From spray paint to markers, caps, and merch, we've got it all. Let's get creative. GraffitiCityNV.com.
This is The Chairman and the Artist, where vision meets creation. Let's talk.
Welcome back. My name is Rafael from The Chairman and the Artist. This is June 30th or 31st? 30th, huh?
It's June, it's May still.
May 30th. God damn it. I'm
It's
terrible
late.
with my dates.
He's not awake yet.
We're out here in Reno, Nevada, right on the South Virginia Avenue, reporting in front of the Silver Legacy. Coming back to you all the way from the biggest little city in the world. Welcome back. We have a very talented tattoo artist who's been around the game since back in the 90s, 80s, damn, 80s. And she's got a book that she wrote. She's also from the UK. Is it UK or Ireland? Ireland. Hey, that's why we're here to find out everything. We're gonna probably to introduce to you Pym before I get more shit wrong. Welcome back, Pym.
Hi. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Sorry about the lighting. We got artificial light coming at you right from the fucking. We're in the shade of a tree, by the way, you guys. And we're out here at the Lady Luck Tattoo Convention. And how's life treating you, girl?
Good, man. I can't complain. No complaints at all. I get to be here in Reno, which I've been here a few times for this convention. It's a really fun little convention. I like the way it's organized. I think it's a great organizer. Get to meet old friends, feel their faces, just hang out with some of the old school guys. And so for me, it's like a really fun time because it's so fun. And it's like love that we should sit here and we get to should have fun. So the last century and all the things that are in this.
Yeah, like yeah, it's Showtime is her book. You guys should read it. I read this book. It's an awesome book. It taught me some history. I thought I knew some shit. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm getting schooled here.
Well, it's Europe too. I mean, a lot of the things in Europe were different from in the States at the same time. Yeah. So when I started teaching myself in Europe, it was different people, and eventually I got to go to the States, kind of States and Europe coming together with tattooing in the '90s through the conventions and everything. Kind of facilitated this explosion of tattooing into the public conscience, really. And everybody was doing different things, and we were all kind of contributing to this wheel, this big wheel that was moving tattooing forward during the '90s, which was a
Great to find out that I mean, in the tattoo business part, which tattooing has been done since caveman time. We've been doing it through all kinds of cultures and stuff. But business, where you have an official business, a licensing, you're like the second and third generation right now. You know, I'm beginning to find out that I'm meeting people that I'm the first one to open up the shop in this town. I'm the first one to open up a shop in this town. So it's really like, what the fuck? And for me, I always thought that Europe was ahead of us. I thought you guys had more equipment and better stuff. Considering, you know, things still coming back. You know, and I thought he brought that kind of stuff. And also, you guys have this big old thing called tattoo convention, but it's like thanks. In some places, like, what?
Played it out.
Have you ever seen that? I don't know if it's like, what do you mean they call it tattoo convention? But there's nights and all kinds of medieval stuff happening in this convention.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the time, it was like trying to draw attention in whatever way possible. And the carnivals were what was leading us. So whatever attraction you had out there was going to bring people. And then they were like, oh shit, tattoos too. But I think it's important to remember that in the '80s, there were very few tattoo shops, and people, the general public, was more like impressed with tattoos. Um, and so it kind of had to come out of the dark ages somehow, and we were very much responsible for doing that in these conventions. And the older conventions, you had to send in photos. You had to actually be good at what you were doing because it was trying to present it with really good front, and it had a good front.
Yeah, I think finally tattooing and photography had enough. You know, let's say photography came up where the point that everybody almost, I would say more like in the 80s, you were able to acquire a camera because a camera was something that only special people know. But now that you have a camera, you were able to document your tattoos. You were able to start documenting your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't because I was traveling. I wish I had.
Yeah, I mean, but that's one of the cool things about your book that I concentrate on the reading and almost imagine being there. When you talk about going from town to town in the party event, that must have been fucking awesome. And
yeah, I mean, it was. I was a kid, and I basically was traveling in my van trying to teach myself to tattoo. And it was hard at first to get clients because the big thing about the 80s here as well in the States and Canada and everywhere in the world was that women really didn't do it. Like there was a very, very small handful of women in the trade. And we always ran into this thing of like, oh, don't be stupid, girls don't do tattoos, and it was hard to get clients. And they'd stand in front of the booth at the convention sometimes and they'd be staring at you just like, who gets tattooed by a bitch? I mean, come on. And it was hard to get through that. It's just like, whatever, fuck you. Honestly, I can't do the same job as a man. Come on.
especially when it comes to something that is artistic, it's not like you're lifting,
Yeah.
a machine that is 100 pounds bigger than you gotta have to really stress. No, this is art. This is craftsmanship. This is knowing how to put things together, and also the salesmanship of tattooing. You guys were drawing your flash, then see who liked your flash, which one was gonna sell, which was gonna bring in the bread and butter that night.
Yeah, and also just being able to, be an artist and put things together for people, which they hadn't had that to that point. A lot of old school American tattooing was all done from what was on the wall. And if you didn't want what was on the wall, well, oh well,
Yeah.
So I think the 90s started moving it into a whole big dynamic of freehand pieces that flowed with the body, big stuff, and that was a big change in the direction of the trade. So
When I came into the industry, this is one of the fights that we're having on the magazine. One of the things, flash versus freehand. Why would you let this guy freehand shit on you and without seeing the design all done and this and that? And the freehand guys, fuck that. I like to do freehand right on the skin. I like to modify it and work with the skin instead of trying to figure out the stencil. So there was a confusion, and also, you know, uh, there was a new era of people coming in with hey, I'm gonna freehand this shit and stuff.
yeah,
And both of them are reliable and really cool.
Yeah.
But it's those little things that were coming out. When I started, the magnums were just hitting the industry. Prior to that, it was signs and black. And what the fuck is a magnum? What do you mean a magnum? And it sounds like caliber, you know? It sounds like a magnum.
right.
Those also changed the way my tattooing.
Definitely, and you could do much bigger pieces with an ease. The thing you could cover much more ground than you could with a 7 round or something, which was standard. And we also had like 5 spreaders, and they covered pretty well. But once you had the Magnum, you could get things more smooth. And that was a big deal. And the freehand, I mean, people enjoyed it. They wanted to have pieces that were completely original, which is, of course, the big advantage of freehand. And they gave trust. I mean, they trusted us, and I think that what happened, unfortunately, with the TV shows, there was a loss of trust for the freehand process, and so nowadays it's more the custom thing. That's where the custom thing came in, because people do want to see it laid out, and they don't trust that they're being told not to trust it, by the TV. So TV lies, people. It's not always true, right? I mean, it's good to give an overview, but it's always specific from the person's point of view when presenting a TV show. And if they don't do freehand well, freehand's bad.
Yeah, and it's also like, Kelly would freehand draw, we would freehand draw, and people like, we show them our portfolio. This is what we do, this is our capabilities. Now that you understand what we do, we're going to do something unique and awesome for you. But I don't have the drawing, I got it in my head.
Right.
You're going to have to trust me, and I'm going to have to trust you, and hopefully we can get this done. Because you're going on a little journey with this person.
Yeah.
You're starting a sleeve or you're starting a big piece. And of course, they also have the thing that, this should be done in 3 months. It should be done in 3 months, motherfucker.
Right.
You have the money. Hopefully, you got the time.
Yeah, it's a big
Hopefully,
difference.
the tolerance.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they think that this is not going to hurt 3 hours later. They're over there shaking.
It's a process. I think, learning to be tattooed is just almost the same thing as tattooing itself, because the client is a huge part of it. And that client has to learn how to go through the process. How does my body handle this? How do I react to it? And I usually find when I start on big pieces with people that after a little while they start to just smooth into it and understand how they accept the processing the pain and the whole range of that even. And to that, I'll also say, like, this little numbing cream thing. Come on, guys. I mean, for real.
It's taking the experience of the pain. You're there for the pain. You want to prove that you went through the process.
Well, it's a rite of passage to a point, I think. But also, I personally believe that these numbing creams don't encourage good healing, and sometimes you're tattooed, you'll spend all that time and all those hours in the chair, all numbed up, and then it doesn't heal right. So hey, you got to do it again. So you can kind of counter acting the entire process.
I think also the bigger the tattoo, the more pain tolerance you took, that
Right.
measured, and also is for my better word.
Each to their own. I mean, everyone.
Yeah, to my mind, fuck, you're cheating yourself of the experience. You're cheating yourself of
Maybe they want
hanging
to.
out, hanging out at the shop.
Wake up and be cool, yeah.
Yeah, but how cool are you when you're pathetic? You don't have no story to tell. You have nothing to tell of what happened there. Oh, then I went under and I woke up and ta-da!
I woke up and I was cool.
Yeah, I mean, we used to hear the stories back in the day. I got drunk in Tijuana and ended up in the morning with this, and I don't even remember it.
Right.
Okay, we understand that. You started as a fucking at the TDY, you ended up at the tattoo shop, and then somebody got dairy, nut dairy to get this. But it wasn't like you were planning to drink yourself out of the pain. It just happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's like the Navy. I mean, I've tattooed in quite a few places with Navy military and painting weekends, and it's in the book about the Navy in Gibraltar back in the day, and I'm not going to spoil the story, but I mean, effectively, if we hadn't tattooed drunks, we wouldn't have tattooed anybody. You had to. It was kind of the whole thing, but it was part of that student screwed and tattooed situation where they'd been at sea for 6 months, and they just wanted to get some.
And you guys have a beer while they're getting tattooed? Hell no, it's like, have a beer, bro.
Oh no, we didn't give them beer. They came or any beer.
No, but say you're gonna deny them that. Some of my clients will come in, hey, Rock, can I have a beer while I get this? Yeah, as long as you don't get a blister and drop,
Yeah.
you can have a beer and sip it and enjoy the pain and then feel a little buzz. But you start moving and swaying and
That's the biggest secret, isn't it? That whole thing about, oh, you're going to bleed out, get a tattoo. It's just simply to tell somebody that's drunk that they're going to bleed out or the tattoo is going to look like shit if they're, tattooed whilst drunk. It's realistically what it is that we don't want to deal with your drunken ass, We don't want to deal with your stupid stories and you're flopping around everywhere. But it's just much easier to present it to a drunk person as like, oh man, you just going to bleed too much. And then they're like, oh, okay. And you're like, I don't want to deal with your sorry ass. Oh, fuck you. And they get all like,
well, not only that, they're at a point that they're moving too much. They're not even sitting there.
Yeah, it's not even.
And here you're trying to master your piece or like whatever you're doing on them. I gotta get this line right. And this guy, hiccups.
Yeah. Definitely not a good idea. I mean, a couple of drinks, okay, whatever, but like shit face. Come back another day.
And the other thing that I've been noticing now that I'm doing this podcasting, back in the day, we concentrated on ourselves. We didn't even know what the down the street that was going down the street. Just when I compare notes,
Right.
Stuff like that, and also unless you also were friendly enough to go in there and compare notes.
Well, I think that was the big deal with the conventions. That's why I do truly believe that the conventions during the 90s really changed the face of tattooing because the tattoo artists would go to these shows and it wasn't like fleetly a little bit like it is now. It was like we'd all sit down and discuss it. It was like how many names you're using, what machines you're using, what colors you. So there was always a trade off of like ideas, new things, and be like, oh, I'm gonna try that, And so it progressed like rapidly because I really truly believe that the conventions were a super highway of information first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, at that time, there weren't that many tattooers, so we could all sit down together, and we were all from different parts of the world, different cities. There was no like, oh, you're down the block from me, I ain't talking to you, you're an asshole, right? It was just like we were all doing this for the furtherment of it all and making it better and funner. And I miss those days, And that was part of like what I wanted to put into the book was what a cool time it was back then to be a part of this big wheel of like information and progress and making tattooing into formulating the cool thing that it is today. Because I mean, it's gone leaps and bounds, obviously, today, and they have different equipment. But I think at the turn of the century, which is of course 2000, it's the last century, but not that long ago in real terms, 25 years ago, it was a different game.
Oh, fuck it.
And then a lot of people got attracted to it, and then TV shows came along and it just exploded. And so things changed then again, dynamically. So in the last 40 years, there's been a huge shift.
the computer threw a big wrench in it too.
Well, you call it a wrench. I mean, I like to have my reference in my phone. You know?
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, it brought the convenience of it,
Yeah.
and it also brought the other side and this and that, and also some of us that didn't want to evolve with the computer, we're struggling with it and this and that. Some of us refuse to. I will never need that. And a way you will, because social media that's another fucking wrench in that fucking system.
Yeah, but I mean, it has its benefits. You know, I've been thinking recently that it's a lot like Carnival. Like, you know how Carnival,
Yeah.
because in all of that, like, people would present themselves, they'd be all tricked out and have barkers and be like, I do this and I do that. But it was more the presentation, right? That people were attracted. They were just like, whoa, I want to check that out, right? So to me, the new social media TikTok, like, wave that's come through where, I mean, a lot of us old people are just like, well, you get a whole lot more of the person than you do their talent, and you got to check that out a little further. But these people that present themselves well in the social media aspect are selling themselves a lot like carnivore. So it's like a technological carnival to me. It's kind of weird the way to look at it, because it's got nothing to do with their skill as tattoo artists, but it's more to do with how they present themselves, how much of an experience you have with them as a person, and then we'll see about the tattoo, right? So,
Yeah.
careful with that. So triggers, smoking mirrors.
And also, hopefully, the way you're portraying yourself out there on social media, that is your real character. Because if you're doing two characters, on social media, you're doing this goofy person, but in real personality, you're a dick and you're an uptight person, then the time that comes to you for that personality is gonna be like, it's nothing like what the fuck I seen on social media. Shit like that. I thought, this guy was gonna be an awesome conversation and this and that. I thought I was going to socialize with my tattoo artist. He wears headphones and stuff like that.
It's important to check it out a little more before you make the appointment and commit, right? I mean, go down there and meet the person, and then see how they are. You know, if they're just like, oh, make an appointment over the internet and you can't meet me until we're actually doing a tattoo, well, you might want to figure out why.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a big commitment, like I said. So you need to know who you're talking to and who you're dealing with, I think.
And some of these people after the COVID, they got fucking lazy. They don't want to. They want everything delivered. They don't even want to come down and talk to us. They don't even want to come check out the portfolios. They want to do all the shopping online. Hey, can I get this? They start saying pictures. Can I get a price? It's like, get off your fucking couch. Get your ass over here. Maybe by the time we're fucking done talking, you might even have an outline.
It's true, but at the same time, it is what it is now, right? It's just changed exponentially, and you and I can't understand it because, well, we're fucking old. So
I can understand it, but I'm trying to change the personalities of these people that fucking tattoo cannot be emailed to you. You have to come in and get it done.
Well, and it's all like
Fancy delivers.
So, but I try not to get onto too much of all that stuff because you just have to accept what's going on to a point and shake things, right? So you just have to be. For me, I have to be true to myself as what I do with my tattoos and my art and all this stuff. I just true to myself, and I can't compete with certain people and their social media accounts. I can't, and I didn't even bother trying it. It's just I just gave up getting mad about it because what's the point, right? And I think that I can learn from some of that, and they can learn from some of me, right? So we can have an exchange still. We just got to open our minds to it. So the young generation of tattooers being all kinds of like, oh, you fucking gatekeeper. Actually, we're not. You just got to come and talk to us, right? And then
I was a gatekeeper. You can call me that.
I'm trying to tell him like there's no point in being a fucking gatekeeper, but it's rough.
But at the same time, when I did my apprentice and stuff, I gave him everything. Like, I went out of my way, and stuff like that. And right now, even apprenticeship that is, learning from me here and there, or they're looking for my knowledge. Then they go check on YouTube or check, and then it's like they're fact checking me.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Is this fucker telling me the right shit, or who the fuck is lying to me? Which video is?"
Well, there's many variations of truth, right, all the time.
And so I wonder how hard it is for this apprentice too to get all this different information. You get information from your master or whatever. You get information from the other crews. And then you go on TikTok and no, this shit sucks. And don't do it this way. Don't do it that way.
Well, I wouldn't know because I never had an apprenticeship and I've never had an apprentice, right? So I'm kind of outside of that whole box. I see all this stuff on the internet about no apprenticeship is bad. And it's not if you search for the right information. And I don't have apprentices. I never have and I never will. But if I find people that are just, trying hard to go in the right direction. I will mentor them, to a point, but it's not an official apprenticeship. It's just when I meet someone that I see has spark and desire to be a good tattooer and they don't have a way to find that, I'll try and help them. I'll try and help them find a way to get it. It's not a whole cut. And this is part of the book. So I'm going to talk about that because
Oh yeah.
I'm the book.
When I read your book, I was like, oh shit, I said more than one thing to Pym, and now I get understand her. Oh shit, I need to apologize in this situation.
Yeah,
Which I apologize for some of the things that I have said. But that's
Well-
true of me, that's reality.
yeah. I mean, but that's it. Just be real. I mean, and I can handle a little bit of flack. It's not that I can't. I came up with the old school guys, right? And this was the whole thing. They were always like, "Go away, stupid girl." And I'm like, "Hold the fucking beer, okay? I'll be right back."
Oh yeah.
This is, the book itself. There's a lot in there about how I taught myself to tattoo. So anyone that wants to learn something like apprentice-wise could learn some things from this. And then again, there's other things that are pretty fucking obvious or whatever. But this is all 1980s and 1990s, and it stops in 2000 when I left Europe. It came over here to the States, but it's just a different era. And I think it's kind of cool because most of the people I meet now haven't even been tattooed. They haven't even been born for the longest of time as I've been tattooing, So this is life of pie and tattoo stuff, all right? So this is full of what, we had to make our machines, make our colors, make our needles, like all of that shit. It wasn't like you could order it from Amazon and have it.
Yeah.
In the afternoon.
That's the other thing, back in the day when you were making your tools, you were fabricating some of your tools. You had to figure out how to do a little bit of electronics, a little bit of
Everything.
screwing around.
Yeah.
Right now, and I'm not being bashing on these people, but right now it's all about opening a package.
Yeah.
The convenience, the difference in convenience.
Yeah.
Not having to burn your fingers when you're making needles, not having that fucking solder go up your nose.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm gonna start teaching needle making workshops or something because she liked making needles, stupid as it sounds.
So did I have like 20,000 needles I can't find. I have a box that people are asking me to do classes or seminars, just showing them, what it goes to make this so you can appreciate what you got now.
Well, that, and I also seriously believe that when when we were making our own needles, we could tailor them to how we wanted the machine to drive them, right? So it actually gives you much more variance. I feel like the throwing machines offer a lot more variables than the printing machines. And so, they're useful, they're practical, they're useful work. But if you really want to get deep down into tattooing and how it works in the skin and how you can change all of these elements, you can do that by using foam machines and making real needles. And it might seem like, oh, why would I want to step into the past? But I think it would change your game.
Well, I think a lot of newcomers right now, I see them getting bored with how far can I go with the dildo? But sooner or later, they're like,
You can go quite far with it.
Oh, yeah.
Actually. Not saying, just saying.
But, I'm the kind of motherfucker who takes shit apart, and I'm intrigued by it.
Right.
When I understand all the parts, and that was the cool thing about a coil. You understand all the parts. You start understanding the complexity of 8 versus 10 wrap and all that, and the metals and how they conduct
Yeah, right.
electricity.
And what it's doing in the
So you learn all this stuff that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Versus, and I'm doing numbers.
But that depends how deep you want to go with it. I mean, some people just want to be able to make a tattoo and enjoy that process and make good art and go home. Other people are, like you said, they're more mechanical. They want to fiddle with stuff and see how it works. And I think either way is good. And I think we should, us old school gatekeeper assholes, probably should do things like showing the younger people how to make needles if they want to learn. Show them how to work a glove machine if they want to learn. And I think that's okay. I really do. I think it's tattoo. Sorry, tattoo. Deserves a space. Whatever we can give to it, even now, as it becomes different and as we age out in it. Because we are. I mean,
Oh yes, because this fucking new thing called AI is coming in strong.
Oh, fuck that shit.
Well, I'm using AI to help me with my writing. I'm a terrible writer,
Oh yeah.
so I use AI for that.
Well, I
hopefully that's.
using AI to write this fucking book. But
Are you fucking serious?
That shit.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
bullshit. I love that you wrote it, and I love the way you wrote it. Because when I read it, I can hear your voice.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I know, homegirl. And you guys should really read this book and not fucking AI. That's bullshit. That's an insult.
Well, it couldn't be AI because it's the first book of its kind. I mean, effectively, there's no photographs in it. But, I mean, to go to the subject matter of the book, I think we kind of touched on it, but effectively, it's me teaching myself to tattoo in Europe in the 1980s after I ran into a bunch of guys who were like, oh, yeah, women don't do this, right? So this is my journey through that, teaching myself. And then after a little while, I managed to work my way into the convention scene, working in shops in Germany when it was all brand new, and I opened my own shop, and blah, blah, blah. But it's not really about me so much as it is about tattooing at that time. And I try to kind of include a lot of people, talk about some of the characters and the wild, crazy people from the old days, you know, and how they were. And just, yeah, it's just awesome times. I don't live in the past, but I feel that it's necessary to document, you know?
I almost want to throw some names, but it's like, you know what? Fuck that. And they have to read the book so they can see who you met, what kind of names, who you travel with,
Yeah.
you know, all these adventures that you took, what it took to even get somebody to open up the fucking front door. And,
Yeah, I mean, it's listen, I think it's a cool read. It's not heavy. It's not about me. It's not about, you know, hashtag me too on my own. And it is definitely a eye opener, I think, for young women in this century because they don't have to deal with that kind of thing. But I mean, there were like 5 women in Europe that were doing the convention scene, you know, and we would literally sometimes we'd come to the line outside of a convention, and as artists, you know, we can skip the line so we can be there ready for you guys. And we would skip the line, get up to security, and be like, "Hey, we're working the show." And they're like, "Fuck off." And they don't let us in. They're just like, "You guys aren't artists. You're just bitches."
That's so fucked.
And-
That is so mean.
yeah, but it happened all the time. I mean, you run into this stuff all the time for a very long time, right? Up till probably the mid-90s.
And on one of my podcasts that I just did recently, I had one of the guys that we were doing the interview asked me, "Well, did you get tattooed by a girl?"
Yeah, see?
And I told him,
It's
"Fuck yeah, bro. If I look at her portfolio, this and that, how can you be sexist?" You know? And I was telling him that in our industry, you know, when I had my shop, I would have a guy come in, "Hey, I want this accent piece," and it's an accent piece from a flat. So yeah, Aaron can do it. I don't want white work. That you racist motherfucker. Oh, fucker, even if I throw a girl, I don't want that to do. And it's like, you guys are fucking assholes. Check out their portfolio. That's what you should be doing out there.
Yeah,
And
that's
if they're capable of, you know?
that's exactly it. I mean, it comes down to my point that I've had for a long time. I travel with people, and we're human beings. We should treat each other as human beings. It doesn't matter what color you are, what gender you are, what you know subscribe to in any way in your life. You're just a person doing a tattoo. And if we could all break down those barriers a little bit and just interact with each other and behave as human beings, then I think things could get a lot easier. You know, it's not about like I'm a woman, you need to respect me because I do tattoos. I need to respect you because you do good tattoos. I don't really care what you are. At the end of the day, if you're a tattoo artist, it shouldn't come with another disclaimer or another box. I mean, of course I'm behind women tattooing. Of course I am for one. But it shouldn't be your qualifying factor.
Yeah, but you also went through some bullshit where you were discriminated or looked down upon just because of your sex. And you know, other than that,
Yeah,
you're very capable
I'm
and
still here.
still here.
I'm still sailing my sailboat, fixing it myself.
And he still said to me a little bit later, "Seriously, bro, you would let a girl tattoo you? Motherfucker, my boss was a female. Just to let you know, you know,
Should, yeah.
I'm sure to respect
Yeah.
a female as my boss. Kelly's wife was my boss,
Well,
right, too.
yeah, I mean, and you gotta think in Europe we had it slightly different because I mean we had the queen in charge for my entire life. We had a boss all the time that was a female. It was nothing like to think that you know in the '90s and stuff, the brand of feminism at that time was just like get out there and do it. You know, it wasn't like I have to prove myself. I have to, you know, show that I can do it. Blah blah blah. I just went and did it, and the guys were like, all right. And
It's
like,
fucking weird.
yeah, it was different here. When I first came to the States, I was kind of like, dude, the role gender thing is really kind of exaggerated here compared to what I grew up with, you know? It was wild, really, to a point.
So it was more sexist here in the United States than it was in
Oh,
Europe.
100%. 100%, yeah.
See,
Yeah.
you guys you need to understand that shit.
Yeah.
Europe was, you know, is a little more lenient and stuff like this. With United States, we still practice all this beautiful racism, which I enjoy it.
Yeah,
Gives me something to talk about.
yeah, it's also.
From every point of view, you know?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Europe, I don't know how you really put it into words, but everybody just go on with their shit, did what they wanted to do. And as kids, we were always told, like, you have to stand on your own 2 feet. You know, and nobody's going to do it for you. And so it just did. For someone to fix their own cars and fix their own houses and do that stuff. Whereas here, I don't know, and I can't really speak to it because obviously I wasn't here, but they seem to really put their mind up. Like, well, you're a girl, you gotta, learn to cook, get married, do all this stuff, and underlying that, and or for people of color or whatever, it's just like, well, you guys, you get to do this, and you don't get to do that. The same thing with the gender. It's the transgender and the gay people and everything. Also in Europe is different because people just tend to be anything they put. And that is how it should be. And I don't understand. I do not tolerate, and I will not fucking ever like speak to in a theater or any of this fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I myself, I can't change the world. I just go around it. I know, understand it. Sometimes I have to outprove myself to people.
Well, yeah,
You
it's
think
like,
this Mexican can do Celtic? Let me show you. You think this Mexican can do tribal? Let me show you.
well, no, that's all you can do, right?
What I like about tattoo is almost like boxing. Once we start, it's me and you.
Yeah.
There's nobody else. You sit there, let me tattoo you. I sit here, let me. It's a one-on-one.
Right.
We're dancing with the client, and it's a one-on-one. And the end, ta-da!
Right.
And it's not like you got your boss behind you helping you with a hand.
No,
Then show you how to. No, it's one-on-one,
it's the person.
and you have to prove to this motherfucker, whoever trusting you, to do the work that you're gonna do the best work that you can,
Right.
and at the end, hopefully they like say,
Well, and it's like the crazy atheism that we come back to in this book all the time is like you're only as good as your last tattoo. And somebody asked me what that meant. And it just basically means it's up to you with your own conscience to do the best that you can. And if you do a shitty job, well, that's your last statement as a tattoo. If you do an amazing job, that's your last statement as a tattoo artist, right? So are you going to be like going home and being like, yeah, I did the best I could? Or are you going to be like, yeah, got some money out of that guy? Because that makes a difference, It's just.
I'm kind of stuck on that challenge where myself as I try to do myself. I'll do like I just finished a tattoo. All I see those mistakes. So it's like, guess on the next one I get to fix all those felt like
Sometimes it's harder. That's what I'm saying about the best you can do. It's not that it's perfect. I think once you think it's perfect, you should probably quit.
No, you
It's
can
a
get a perfect
constantly
one.
drive. Like you do it and you're like, okay, well, I'm happy with that, but I do this and this and this may be different. But I don't know if the clients need to hear that part,
Oh no.
The client needs to enjoy their tattoo and think that it's the best that you could do that day, and that's kind of what I'm saying about that.
Yeah, my addiction, I think you have the same thing. You're trying to outdo yourself.
Yeah.
Every day. You're trying to do better than the last one. Even though the last one was fucking awesome. The client is happy, they're super ecstatic.
Yeah.
But you yourself, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I guess on the next one I'll do better. Just because we have that desire to outdo ourselves or try and I'll get another chance at this kind of style of tattoo. Because that's the other thing. You'll see, it's not like every day you're doing portrait
No.
until you get good at it. You do a portrait 1 week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, you get another case of a portrait. And also, you're not getting the same skin tone, the same
No.
challenge. It may be a whole different area of the skin too. You're not getting to work the same area. So takes a while to get all these little practice out getting on a daily basis.
It's true, but I mean, you can draw, and I really encourage people to draw on paper rather than the icon. But the icon is it's the instant tool. It's all full into the shop of it being your own material because but yeah, I do think that seeing what comes out of your hand on paper is very important to you too.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the first time I saw the iPad and I saw Procreate what's doing, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. But I can see it's going to destroy creativity.
I know you're using AI, so what the fuck?
Yeah,
That's a double
I wanted to destroy creativity. That's what I tell people. It's like, please draw, please exercise drawing. Wake up a day and do one drawing on a piece of paper like we all did. It'll help your mind. Don't do the copy and paste over and over.
Right.
It's great to make quick money and somebody comes, I want this and that, and go ahead. But if you can draw, teach yourself to draw. Do not cheat your mind
Right.
creativity.
No, it's very true. I mean, I seriously believe that you can learn to draw and you can learn to improve every day. So it's like, sure.
Even on the podcast, a podcast is, hey, I just do, hey,
Yeah.
I told AI, hey, draw this shit because I don't want to do it right now. I want to get this podcast going. Later, I'll draw it.
AI's gonna make it too easy though. I mean, it takes away the human contact elements for the too because of what you're talking about, that relationship between the client and the artist. Like, at what point do you let the robot step in?
Oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna send ninjas to go kill any robot that they're making to do tattoos. We're not
Well, I
gonna
talk
do
about the
that.
robot doing the art.
I know that's why we don't fucking make sure we say ninjas to take care of those guys. Those are the ones that are gonna. Yeah, this shit is getting crazy. More and more people are trying to figure out how to do robotic tattoo, which I don't think is cool. Let us have that. That is the only thing we have to share by our hands and crafts. And
I think if you're crazy enough to want to get tattooed by a robot, that's on you.
yeah, you should hire a
It's not
human.
gonna take us. It's not gonna take us out yet. Maybe in 20 years, I won't care by then.
And other than tattooing, which I know that's one of your best fun things. What else do you do for fun? What kind of hobbies you got, girl?
Oh, I like to go out and mess around with my sailboat in Mexico.
So your ass a sailboat.
43-foot sailboat, 13-ton hole in the water. I shovel money into relentlessly, and I like to sail it in the Sea of Cortez. And it's kind of funny because it's kind of also a male-dominated thing, still sailing.
Oh, so you're fucking going in there
It-
pushing them away.
It wasn't, but then I found this stuff, and I'm not pushing anyone around, but I was curious about it. It's like, what do you mean women can't do this? I went back to that. It's like, hold my beer, you know. So back to that whole my point being, women can do anything they want to, so just don't feel you can just because you're a woman. I mean, just get out there and try it. Whereas you're always going to be new at something, so you're maybe bad at it at first, but eventually you'll find out how to do it, and then you might find that you really come into yourself as a person and learn something about yourself by doing that. And I think that's an important thing in life. Like grab all your opportunities, live your life, fill it up with good shit,
I have three beautiful daughters, and they're grown up, and I was raising them to be strong and this and that. And the last thing I want to see is a male coming around and belittle them or dumb them down or this and that. I'm like, no, I try to tell them, no, don't let this happen to you. You know?
Yeah, sometimes you fall into the trap without even realizing it.
Yeah, it's full of love. I love them so much. I'll take the abuse. You know?
No, but I think it's just sometimes pervasive. Like it's somehow back in the psyche, things are embedded. Like things are ingrained in people's minds. I mean, anti women, anti people of color, anti gay. I mean, this is ingrained from very, very, very young in people that were brought up by maybe their grandparents or people from a generation around like 1930s, 40s, 50s that grew up with some absolutely horrible ideas and habits, but they did pass that down the line. And it takes a really smart person to see through that sometimes. Like when you're surrounded by like an atmosphere of women don't count, you can choose to walk away from that. But your mind has to understand that you can't, like, you don't have to put up with that shit or something like that. And that's the same for whatever kind of ism that you're facing. It's like, if you don't like it, fucking turn and walk away from it. Go find your people somewhere else,
That's what I enjoy about tattooing. I touch so many people's lives. I've got to see the potentials of all these people from different walks of life. And now, sometimes I tell people I'm a racist. You can't be going around telling people you're racist. I tattoo many races. I tattoo many skins. I'm educated in their race. So that makes me a fucking racist. Unlike you, you only know one race. You consider yourself a racist? No, I know all these people. I have been able to touch a poke. I seen their marriages flourish, stumble. I see uh, somebody black and white getting married, Native American getting married with a Nazi, that sort of thing. And how did that collide? How does that happen? And how do you guys get along? How does a family come together? So I get to hear all this stuff.
Yeah.
So to me, it's kind of like, and unless you ask the question, "How's your day? What do you do?" and this and that. I think a lot of people don't even dare to ask other people.
I think we're in a unique position on that kind of thing, psychology. We used to be people psychiatrists, they come in and just download on us, all this crazy shit. You'd be like, whoa, too much right now, right? But I mean, that's kind of stopped to a point, I think, in recent years. It's not so much so much issue, but energy.
Well, they bring on their headphones now. They're doing their own selfies where, before they would just pay attention to you. There's not a lot of distraction, and now everybody has a potential to becoming a rock star with an iPhone. Versus, we were kind of like the rock star. We had a unique ability. We have very something unique. Nowadays, all these people walking on the street, they're all, one of these guys could have 1,000 followers. This guy could have 10,000 followers.
Or you could be like,
He could have a million followers.
sold his stuff and went to Hawaii with a cat on his boat. He got like 250,000 followers in a week or something insane.
Yeah, and you're over there risking your life every day. Barely got 5 likes. Like,
Exactly. 120 actually.
I love all your photos. I feel so envious when I see your sunsets.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, this girl's so lucky. Fuck her up penalty with my fucking boat. I was lucky my ass.
Yeah, but lucky my ass is a lot of work, dude. I'm going to work on the boat myself because, again, you run into that whole thing of the Mexican mechanics that are, I mean, they're good mechanics, but they're just like, oh, little woman doesn't know. I'm like, no, 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 no. You and I need to sit down and have a conversation. You need to understand that I know that you guys think that women are stupid, most especially white women, and we're going to have a little conversation about that right now. So I'm not judging you, and I know that you're judging me. And I just want you to know that I'm on a level with this shit. So either you do the job or you don't. But we need to understand that I am not as stupid as you think I am. So it's always like
So you did it on the boat right away.
I mean, it's been like, I think when I first was talking to him about the book, and he was just like, oh, you got a book, how well. I got a story too. Like, I had a hard time breaking into this Mexican. I'm like, good, write the fucking book.
Well, yeah.
So you
I might have AI do that for me because I can't rap with the shit.
So now
But you motherfuckers are not even going to believe what's real or not because fuck it. Even when you write, like I said, when you do something real, like I have my reviews on my chairs. After 60 reviews, all 5 stars, somebody writes all fake shit. Fuck you and your fake reviews. They're paying these fuckers. And my clients actually went after this guy. Fuck you. You can't be talking shit about rap. It was kind of cool. But we live in an era also like we don't even know what's real or fake anymore.
Well, that's why social media is such a double-edged sword. You gotta be very careful what you take from, very careful what you leave behind. It's a great tool again, but it's not always constructive, and you can really fall down some horrible rabbit holes of things you read on the internet. And it's if you have success, people will knock you down. I mean, internet or no internet, there's always going to be somebody that doesn't like you, and that's when I get to the point like I don't give a fuck. I'm not out here to make friends. I'm just trying to tell people something. This is the point of my book is not to be like, oh, hey, this is me and blah blah blah. It's just like I wanted to share with you something that is part of tattoo history now.
Yeah.
And you can read about it and understand it. I can't do it. If you do, even better. Right?
And that's the reason I started the podcast. I should I do a book, should I do a podcast? A podcast will stay on the quickly in my computer. It's going to document my life, document who I am, and maybe it'll even help me rewrite or write a book.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I remember this from this.
I'll be your ghostwriter.
Yeah, you can be my ghost. I'm a terrible writer. I tell some of my stories to people. And like I told this one guy about Mickey got stabbed and shit. And then I walked away to the bathroom.
Really?
And right away he turns to welcome. Stop shooting me for what the fuck.
No, that's a crazy shit.
No, he's really telling you fuck believe rap stories because he's really telling you, but he just likes to put, how can I say, elaborate them or put a little bit of stuff off yourself. He tells the setting, he tells the setting and this and that. Then he starts telling you shit, and right when you're about to like, oh, this is, so he turned around and shot so what the fuck? I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that, right? But the stuff that happened before the world got sanitized, right? That's pretty much it, really, I feel like. And the internet had a lot to do with that. Like, for the internet, there was no connecting with the world with the press of a button. You had to go visit people, you had to call them, you had to, find a way to contact people.
Tired of tattoo chairs that squeak, wobble, and feel like you're tattooing on a folding lawn chair from 1982? Say goodbye to imported pain and hello to the Chariot Tattoo Chair, the only throne fit for an artist and their canvas. Crafted right here in the good old US of A, the Chariot Tattoo Chair is more American than a bald eagle riding a Harley through a fireworks show. No tariffs, no shipping delays, just pure economic freedom. We're talking lumbar support that'll cradle your client's spine like it owes them money, armrests that adjust faster than your last relationship, and a 360-degree swivel that'll have you spinning like a DJ at a block party. Stop torturing your back and your client's dignity. Upgrade to the Chariot Tattoo Chair, because your art deserves better than a glorified bar stool. The Chariot Tattoo Chair. Sit proud, ink loud.
This CBD-infused cream provides targeted comfort with a zesty, refreshing scent. Find your relief today at ktapothecary.com.
That's how the world's going, The house
That's
is
why I'm working my ass off so I don't end up being like those, It only takes a couple of years, 40 weeks, and
right.
you're fucked,
I think that's the same for everybody. I mean, it's just, and that's I think part of why tattooing, whatever you're doing, like if you believe in it strong enough, you can't really go into it and become something solid so you can stay solid all the way down the years. And say after 40 years or 30, whatever, 38 years, I think.
38 years, you guys. 38 years. Before some of you motherfuckers even came out of somebody's nutsack.
Yeah.
She was tattooing.
We were talking last night to a bunch of people that have, been alive shorter than my career. It's not tired me to a point. But, yeah, I mean, you can have a great career out of tattooing. You just got to give everything to it. And I've always done that, right? I mean, I do art on the side, but I've never had a real job. I've never worked for them. It's just always, and that search for freedom and that once each day, be completely self-employed, doing independent forever, it's a hard road. Sometimes it's a road with a lot of dead ends in it, but you just got to believe yourself, pick it up. That's what I have to say.
Believing in yourself will be obsessed.
Yeah.
Your challenge every day.
Yes.
I'm trying to semi-retired, but I'm still tattooing. My clients are still looking.
You see to get some just for men, get that ratio out all the time.
Oh, I just shave it, then I'll look up my brother. Then I'll do some videos. We're gonna do a campaign called Tattoo Like a Cholo.
Oh?
And I'm gonna hit the switch.
See, I come in and be like, tattoo like a Reno?
Tattoo like a buena, tattoo like a cholo.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going to Guadalajara for that convention in August.
Oh, it's 24.
With Sammy. Yeah, well, Bert was talking about it. Anyway, I enjoy tattooing all over the place, and I also learned to speak a bunch of languages because I'm like that. So that
What languages do you know? So that way I make sure I don't touch shit around you.
four.
4 languages.
But it's good. Like for me, traveling, say I'm in Mexico on my boat. Well, I mean, if I didn't speak Mexican Spanish or Spanish, it would be a lot harder. Like I like communicating with people and talking to people and learning things from people and learning languages definitely facilitates that. Right?
Oh yeah.
And so
I wish this country would teach 2 languages. They don't want to teach 2 languages. They want to stick to one. But I think, learning 2 languages, that's what allows you to go with that wall. Being able to, I'm going to communicate with folks. I'll figure it out.
yeah, I'll figure it
Not
out.
being able to communicate, yet you're wondering which one of these fuckers is going to stab me in the back.
Oh, I don't ever have that fear of crossing the border like a lot of people have because I mean I have amazing experiences in Mexico and the Mexican people are amazing, and I've always enjoyed it there. I've never had problems there. I mean, I was like broke down on the boat 50 miles down the coastline away from anywhere. There was no roads, no cell service, no nothing, and because I can speak Spanish and communicate with the people. There was a panguero, a guy with a small motorized boat, effectively. He was hanging around trying to sell people fish, lobster. And I'm like, dude, can you side tie to my boat and get me up to a port where there's more stuff where I can get parts to fix this? And yeah. And that's what we did. So you think on your feet, and the people are extremely warm, friendly, and helpful. And I'm really happy to see Mexico as up and coming as it is now compared to 30 years ago. I think it's great.
But it's all about communication. Like I said, don't let your brain take you into thinking that, this or that. And that's what I know is people, once you know the communication, and you'll also read that too, we know how to read people's faces. We know how to read.
Yeah.
When you get your spidey sense is going off,
Psychology.
you know, but something's about to go bad.
Yeah, and like honestly, as much as people sort of talk about, going to Mexico and how dangerous it is, dude, it's no more dangerous than here.
Yeah.
No more dangerous than here. It's just
You get shot out right here at walking, a drive-by can happen, a car can go off the road, somebody can be texting, next thing you know, you're pinned against the wall. I mean, that's how things can happen. It doesn't, and if you hear stuff on the news, not everything is real. You gotta go check it out.
Yeah, fake news.
I tell people I'm going to Mexico, what about the narcos? What about this? You'd be surprised if you get to see such action.
Yeah,
they're all undercover. They're all in the
ground. Just don't go where white people shouldn't go, and you'll be fine.
Unless you're looking for kilos of coke and shit, and most likely you will end up in their neighborhood. But if you're not looking for that, they're not looking for you. They're not. These people have their own business. They're not gonna. Oh my! That everybody.
You're back to the perception, right?
Everybody's
the perception that's being fed to people. The feminism is the same with the racism. It's just being fed to you people. So read between the lines.
Go live your life. Go enjoy your life, and fucking put the phone down for a minute. It's so weird when I go to concerts and everybody's recording. It's like, should be fucking looking your head.
It's like when you're on a boat and you're trying to take a picture of a fucking whale breaching, right? And you take all these pictures and don't watch the whale, and then you look at the camera and all you got is like splashes and waves. Yeah, I totally missed that whole thing.
Yeah, you missed the experience. This whale was doing a show for
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
A very unique fucking show that you should just. I almost think that same thing when I saw the aliens and we saw lights in the sky.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm trying to get the iPad to record it because, like, dude, leave that shit. Just enjoy this.
No.
Oh yeah, I got arrested. I got arrested. Everybody's blaming it on the weed. Nobody believes me, but I have a witness. I can witness it. He witnessed it. Well, that's a cool, crazy thing about seeing stuff like that.
Oh, I
And
see
you
stuff
see shit like that by yourself. Yeah, you're out there in Tucson, and you go to
Yeah, but it's like God over 25 years ago that I was out in Nevada and I seen some incredibly interesting stuff that I couldn't really quite explain ever.
See, fuckers, I'm not the only one who saw it. We like to talk about stuff like that. We like to talk a lot about ghosts. You ever seen some ghosts?
Oh yeah, I was just going to tell you we were talking about AI and my phone started talking to me about Gemini AI. It's just spying on you all the time.
Oh yes,
It's insane, right?
they'll be hearing all the crazy shit I've been saying.
Oh, you're like, that's not cool. I'm not going to get into any of the shit right now. But, yeah, you know, when there's like, well, it's interesting things happen, and you can take it face value tonight or accept it. But like I was saying, there's so much opportunity for people to really live their lives completely and grow in so many different variations. And so, yeah, like you said, get your face out of the phone and experience with actually what's out there rather than in here.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's important. But anyway, Amazon has it. I think Jeff Bezos, but Amazon has it in Kindle and Spotify and an audiobook for the people that don't like to read.
Well, that's right now, those are the suppliers. We don't have little bookstores no more. We lost a lot of that.
Well, and I tried supplying it myself for the longest time. Like the first few months, I did not want to have anything to do with that. So it can also be ordered by me online, or from me rather, signed and everything like that. But it was just such a struggle. Like the book cost $30. So go to the post office and have it sent to Europe or Canada cost $30. Like,
Are you serious?
so it was really hard to expect people to pay the shipping on top of the the price of the book. So I did try to absorb some of it, but it was a very uphill battle.
It's a collectible. You gotta understand it's a collectible. Go to Pip. Check out her Instagram. You got Facebook too?
Oh yeah, I got it.
She got Facebook,
No TikTok.
Instagram, no TikTok yet.
I'm not cute enough for TikTok. I'm not doing TikTok.
It's okay. You can put on your little, what do you call it, Snapchat filters and come out like a
I'm not
Pokemon.
cute with this book.
Do the Pokemon thing. I have to do podcasting to get attention because I don't want to do the dances
Yeah.
and all this shit. I don't want to have to do.
I mean, I think when you're old, it's like super cool. Actually, just look like old. And
We don't fit in either. Fuck, we don't fit in.
I mean, it's not about that though. This is not my generation's thing, right? It's like you want to play TikTok, go right ahead. You know, if you're young and cute and funny, then cool. You know, but I can't do that shit. It's like
We have our talent, and that's how we sell ourselves. We sell ourselves with our true talent, our history talent. We were there, but people were not there.
Yeah, and I think I mean, for me at any rate, like working with clients face to face, selling myself face to face is much, much easier because that's what I grew up doing. So selling yourself on the internet, if all your people are internet, well, that's what you do, right? But everyone has their way, I guess. But for me, I don't like hiding behind a computer screen.
Yeah.
I just like being out there and being the obnoxious asshole that I am. So.
Yeah, and you like going out in the boat, get out of the house. You still ride motorcycles?
I do. I have a lot of points for hands anymore with riding bikes and stuff, so I'd be kind of backing off. But I'm getting another I got an antique sports that I'm gonna fix it up. So we'll see. I miss bikes, I do, but it's just my hands I need for tattooing, not riding motorcycles.
I know we're going to cut it pretty short, but also I remember you used to drive a fucking race car or something.
I used to race cars, jump out of perfectly good planes.
Anybody that fucking says a woman can't do it, she has done it. Just because people say, I don't think he can do it, and next thing you know, she's racing a car, she's riding a motorcycle, selling a boat.
Me, I can't do it. I'm like, if I fucking do it.
You can't be president, all right? No, the next thing you know, we got Pym as president.
I job, and I do not want to tell people what to do or being hated by half the time. Well, that's not my general. But yeah, no, I mean, you can just get out there and do it. Just do it.
And listen to her homegirl when it comes to don't let no man tell you you can't do this or that as a female. Show them that you can do everything and anything. Tell them, I got 10,000 followers. How do you know people? It's weird too. Yes.
Yeah. Don't let women tell you you can't do it either. Because there are some out there that would do that. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes women can be each other's worst enemies as well as their best friends, so you gotta watch out for that too. But that's a whole different story. Anyway, buy my book.
Oh, you
Thanks,
guys.
Rafa.
Thank you. Have a nice one.
Thanks.
I mean, hit record. Not bad. 1 hour in the sun.
Hopefully. I heard myself knocking on this thing. I hope it didn't. Well, that was fun. Thank you.